Today, we are taking this boring, plain, water energy Pokemon card and turning it into a Minecraft item. The adorable Bucket of Axolotl. I had a couple inspirations for this project, the main one being the game Minecraft itself, which has always inspired my crafts because, well, it's in the name. The game has always had this tactile feel, and honestly, after my Valentine's Rose build, I wanted to do another project. I see all of these videos when I'm doom scrolling of people painting over a card to turn it into a beautiful full art, or cutting it up to make an epic shadow box. However, I can't paint or draw really, but I can paint a bunch of little squares and hope it looks alright in the end. Everyone always jokes about Steve's inventory in the game, but there's always been some items in the game I've wanted to carry around, like Ender Pearls or Diamond Armor. Added to that list in 1.17 snapshot 20W51A of the Caves and Cliffs update, you can get the Bucket of Axolotl by finding a lush cave and just yoinking one off the ground. Now he's your little friend forever. This year is also Pokemon's 30th anniversary, with a lot of events happening in Chicago, like Pokemon Go Fest this summer, and the Pokemon Fossil exhibit happening at the Field Museum, both of which I'm very excited are in my area and I'll get to go check out. So Pokemon has kind of just been on my mind a lot. Little fun fact, you need to collect an Axolotl for the All Advancement speedrun since it was added to the game. There are two unique speedruns, one for collecting an Axolotl, and another for getting the regeneration effect while fighting another mob with it. There are 5 different colored Axolotls in the game, with the rarest one, the blue Axolotl, a 1 in 1200 chance to get when breeding them. The official names are Leucoustic, Wild, Gold, Cyan, and Blue. I'm just going to call Leucoustic pink though. Despite these variants, the item in your inventory is always the same pink Axolotl I'm making today. For the Pokemon card, I used one from my childhood collection, and I picked an older energy because I like the yellow borders that the cards used to have. I think this one came out in 2007. It was about here I realized I messed up my first sketch. I wish I could say it was the last. If you couldn't tell, I didn't go about this scientifically. I mean, I used a Pokemon card as a ruler to draw my lines for God's sake. Thankfully, this was the hardest mess up to fix, needing to adjust my bucket pixels to the proper ratio. It's delicate work, which I'm not necessarily the best at, but I wanted the Axolotl to have the size and feel of an item in your inventory, a Pokemon card in your back pocket, something whimsical. My painting strategy consisted of mostly winging it. I kinda just grabbed paint and went for it, which led to not exact color matches, but the same palette, so it worked. I also tried to keep the amount I was using small, which I immediately failed at. There's a decent bit of nostalgia in this project, working with a card I've had longer than I've been playing Minecraft, and I've been playing that since 2011. I considered using newer cards from my partner's bulk to make this, but it just didn't feel right. And this old card has just been sitting above my closet untouched, so I figured it was better to give it a new life anyway. In the age of inflated TCGs, I just like remembering playing with my friends at playgrounds, school buses, or in car rides. I had them tied up in a rubber band and carried them around everywhere. In elementary school, I even made a fake iPhone and convinced all my friends it was real by shoving as many Pokemon cards as I could into one sleeve and never letting them see the front. I've never been a huge TCG guy, honestly, but I am a victim of being born in the year 2000 and therefore subject to the curse of liking shiny cardboard to distract myself from the fact I can't buy a home. I've been scripting a little TCG-focused series called Lightly Played, where I go through some of the more destroyed cards I have from when I was younger and just talk about these sets and my history with my favorite cards and the nostalgia I have with it. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in something like this. The idea for this came from being unable to buy a Pokemon card anywhere near where I live. Hell, even Aldi recently had Pokemon cards and Aldi scalpers cleared the shelves before the store was even open for 30 minutes. And look, I'm not trying to sit here and gamble my money for a shiny Charizard. I don't collect like that. Hell, I barely even collect at all anymore. But it's been more than a year now that anytime I think, hey, let me check the cards really quick, I got an extra $10, that I find the shelves more barren than a desert with a tumbleweed. These brushes are a gift from my family because they belong to my grandfather, who we lost near the start of the year. He was always working on new projects, and I would see him use these brushes to paint model cars and figurines and different things. I've had these just sitting since I finished my last project, and seeing them tucked away in the corner of my room just made my brain toss and turn until I came up with a reason to bust them out again. Anyway, once I finished up the bucket, I cleaned up and got back to it the next day to finish up the water and finally move on to painting the Axolotl itself. I used the same painting technique as the bucket for our little friend, of essentially just being amazing and getting the exact right vibe. I started with his hands and moved up the bucket, but immediately realized my sketch is still off and I'm missing a whole row of pixels. Thankfully, this was easy to fix because of the Axolotl's brick-shaped head. so I just had to bump up some of the details a bit. With that issue solved, I completely locked in. I had Werner Herzog's documentary, Encounters at the End of the World, playing in the background, which perfectly matched the vibe of exploring a Minecraft world for the first time, and I just entered the flow state, listening to the sounds of Antarctica, the stories of wandering souls who ended up there, and the gentle German voice of Herzog. So now, I'll just let you enjoy the creative process. As many artists know the satisfaction of finishing a project, this is how I chose to celebrate mine. But overall, I was really excited with how it turned out. The pixel detail stayed through the layers, and the electric blue background matched the pink very well. I sleeved it up to protect him, and here's a few of my thoughts right after I finished it. No! Look, immediately dropped it as finishing it. That's so me. This looks great, actually. I'm very happy with how it turned out. Little axolotl guy. I think I'm gonna name him Jeff. I like him a lot. He's so perfect. Look at him. He's just a little thing you can carry around in your pocket or whatever. Anyway, enough yapping. Let's get to the cool montage part. Thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in another Minecraft build I did, go check out my Instagram where I built this Minecraft rose. And make sure to follow me there too. I'm working on backloading that series to my channel here, and hopefully we'll have a longer video about the process like the one you just watched. Also, let me know if you have any ideas for possible future projects. I already have a few ideas of my own, but I would love to discuss with you guys. Check out my free short story on my channel if you're interested, and subscribe for weekly videos and to make my dreams come true. Alright y'all, peace!